Patient, never try skating. Fuck niggas hating. I sometimes scroll the internet when I'm bored. I haven't been on here doing a video for about a week because I'm sick. You could probably hear it in my voice, but I did want to jump on here and talk about this. I had a conversation with one of my boys on the phone earlier, and I learned a couple of things from that conversation that made me want to bring the concept to a video, and hopefully I can help somebody out there. It's very important that we understand and identify broken men, whether that be ourselves or the people that we choose to listen to on these internet podcasts, social media podcasts, because we have to watch the things that we ingest and we intake, because it can turn us into exactly what we're listening to. And I myself have been a broken man before, and it is a state of emotional damage. It's deeply severe wounds, emotional wounds, maybe even physical wounds, but you are stuck in a perpetual cycle of being pessimistic and negative and doubtful, untrusting, and in my observation and opinion, regardless if it's me, you, or the people that we choose to listen to on the internet, a broken man is a useless man. And that's why it's very important that we identify whether we are or what a broken man is, generally speaking. So I'm going to jump right into this. Number one, I kind of already said it, but number one sign of a broken man is a pessimistic attitude, a negative outlook. Doesn't matter the topic. You can sit there and say all women ain't bad, and he's going to tell you 99% of women ain't this and that. And it's really due to his pessimistic attitude. It's really due to his unfortunate circumstances, or his negative outlook is due to failed relationships. So regardless if it was romantic or whatever, it's a history of failed relationships that gives a man, a broken man, a pessimistic attitude. And, there's nothing that, positive can come from pessimism. It's not, it's the opposite of optimistic. Optimistic is when you have a positive outlook on things, even if your circumstances are negative, and you keep your chin up and your head held high, and you hope for the best results, and you never give up, and you keep on trying. Okay, that's the kind of content that I want to deliver to men. Okay, I want to deliver optimistic content to men because I'm a single man. Okay, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm single by choice, but I'd rather be single than in a situation that doesn't have any peace. But that still doesn't mean I'm single by choice, because I do desire to have a woman, that I can trust and be with. And I also do believe that she exists. I just believe that it's some things I got to go through to get to her. See, that's that's a optimistic mentality. That's not pessimistic. Okay, pessimism is a negative outlook. I give up. I quit. Ain't nobody out here. You know what? Everybody's the same, and all these women ain't that. That's number one. Okay, if you identify that in the man, the pessimism, then you know who you listen to. And unless you don't want to look forward to greater things to come, then you wouldn't indulge in listening to that kind of content. As soon as you hear somebody just straight negative about stuff, then you turn the channel. Okay, but that's number one way to identify a broken man, whether that's you, me, or anybody else, is pessimistic attitude. Number two is they give bad advice. Okay, let me explain. Excuse me. Okay, they say things like F women, and they are stuck in their feelings. Now they're not going to act like they're in their feelings, but this this attitude of F women and all women ain't ish is an emotional status, or it's them being stuck in their feelings about something. Somebody hurt them, somebody that they like didn't like them. They have a negative, again, it's pessimism. So when you come to them for advice, or when they make a video online about advice, it's bad advice. It's bad advice because it's only going to make situations worse. It does not give a positive outlook. It doesn't reap positive fruit or benefits to take his advice. I heard this one guy say, I don't know his name. I know he wears dark shades in his video. You probably like, oh, I know exactly who he's talking to or about. I don't know the guy's name, but he said in one of his videos, excuse me, I only watched it for a few seconds because I was like, this is crap. But he said, something about women need to or want to know that you can cheat on them if you wanted to. And I was like, where's he getting at? And he said something like, you need to leave a woman's underwear at your place when you bring another woman over there, because then she'll know that you have other options and that'll make her want you. And I said, no. I'm 39 years old. I've been a game playing individual for a majority of those years, and I have a high body count, and that's not a flex. You know what I'm saying? That's something that is real life, and I'm being transparent. But my point in saying that is that in my experience, that's something that I know would not work. And the reason why it wouldn't work is because I don't attract women, or I'm not attracted to women who have that much emotional damage that playing mind games on them would work. You know, leaving a woman's, if I left a woman's underwear, a previous woman's underwear in or around my bed, and then had another woman come over so she can see that, and that made her like me, I'd be turned off. Because ain't no way in hell I'm going to a woman's house and I'm gonna see another man's boxers laying on the floor by the bed, a used condom or whatever, and me think, oh, she got options. I want her now. I'm going to be like, hey, I'm going to go ahead and get up out of here. You clearly loose. You ain't got no boundaries, no morals. No. So like I said, broken men tend to give bad advice. Everything that they say is negative. They teach you how to be a liar. They say things like, oh, we got to lie to these women. These are broken men. Okay. It's a must that we identify this. Okay. It could be you. And if it is you, you just need to seek some help, man. You need to identify this in yourself. If you are a broken man, you need to identify it within yourself. Tell yourself the truth. I need some help. I need to seek wise counseling, therapy, whatever it may be, but it ain't okay. Okay. Number 3, poor leadership skills. Okay. What I mean by this is, excuse me, consumed with their own emotions to the point where they can't provide wisdom and guidance to anybody else. Okay, all they're going to do, you might even hear them say like, hey, don't ask me. I can't help you out with that. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you ask them for advice with women. Or they might even say, man, F that B. You know what I'm saying? When you come to them and you try to ask them for advice on you dating a woman, man, you should just leave her and dump her. They don't have anything wise to tell you. They don't have anything wisdom-based experiences where they could say, this is what happened with me. This is the route I took that was different and it wasn't pessimistic and negative, that they can use to reference how you're feeling in order to help provide leadership or guidance out of a certain situation. They are poor leaders. All they're going to tell you to do is things that keep you stuck in that cycle of pessimism and negativity, and stirring the pot and playing games and not getting anywhere and reaping the same old, outcomes that you've been having, the ones that when you hear it that you want out of. And you want out of this cycle, but you're going to listen to this pessimistic jerk tell you that you need to continue playing the game. You need to continue doing things that you know better than to do. Because he is a poor leader, because he doesn't know how to give positive, nurturing, helpful advice to another man, because he's not in an emotional state where he can think clearly or positively enough to provide that kind of information. Number 4, he turns to toxic ways. A broken man will, based on his, failed attempts at relationships or failed outcomes, whatever his circumstances, his, bad circumstances, poor circumstances, he turns to negative behavior and toxic behavior. He turns to playing games. He starts watching videos and making videos on how to manipulate women and play games with women and how to use women and get the final laugh and all of this toxic BS because he's been broken. Okay? It's important not to let yourself get broken, because if you learn life and life learns you the right way, then you might start off in a good place, go through a couple of things, visit a bad place, then make yourself out of a bad place back to a good place if you're lucky. But a lot of people, they might start off in a good place, go through some bad stuff and get turned into a bad person. And then that ruins your life. You have allowed the test of time, the trials and tribulations to destroy you, your outlook, your spirit, everything. And now even your behavior has been tainted to where now you're doing the very thing that you don't like done to you. You develop this energy and this attitude of play or be played. So now you are out here hurting people the way you've been hurt. And to some degree, you feel justified. You feel justified because you was like, hey, nobody cares. Nobody cared about me. What about me? So I'm going to treat people how they treated me, even though we're dealing with somebody who probably never treated you any kind of way because you never knew this person. But you'd be damned if you allow another person to treat you a certain kind of way. So you develop this defense to where you're going to be the one that do it to them first before they even try to do it to you, even if that wasn't even their intentionality. Now you just wounded somebody and then you walk away and then you like zero empathy. You have been given a hardened heart because of your failed attempts at relationships. You made yourself vulnerable. Now you're like, I ain't making myself vulnerable no more. No, I'm going to stay detached. You hear this a lot in the modern dating field as far as the manosphere. Oh, I can't be making myself vulnerable to nobody. That's a broken man talking. Okay? So they turn to toxic ways. Okay? Excuse me. Okay, that's number 5. Number 6 is they spread their misery. Misery loves company. Okay, they try to influence negative behavior on you. They tell you to do some negative stuff. They try to talk bad about you when you do positive things. Like you still out here trying, man. I'd quit if I was you, man. I don't even know why you still doing that. You asking questions, you still courting. I give up on that. It's again, pessimism is negative. But they are trying to influence you to be bad. This does a couple of things. Number 1, misery loves company. Number 2, if you do bad in front of them, it justifies themselves. They don't feel as guilty as they would if they were the only one doing the negative things that they're doing. Okay. And number 3, it does give them a sense of validation because they get to watch you do something that they would do, and they get to learn from you and your experiences vicariously. And it gives them, they like drama. They have become accustomed to drama and dishing it out and watching it and receiving it. Number 7, they haven't addressed their core issues. This is somebody who has made a conscious decision that they believe they are not the problem. They believe that this broken man believes that the women are the problem. He's been nothing but a good guy. There's nothing to address. Look, sometimes, even if you have intentionally been a good man, there is still room for you to develop. Again, this is an opportunistic, wrong word. This is a, oh my God, lost the word. I forget the word, but this is a more positive way of looking at yourself, even if you are the common denominator in all your failed relationships. Okay, so you're going to look at, if you are a positive person and you're not a pessimistic person, then you're going to say, okay, what can I change? What can I do better moving forward, regardless if I've had blase amount of failed relationships? You are still trying to work on yourself. You're still trying to better yourself. But Broken men do not believe that they are the problem, therefore do not self-reflect, therefore do not make adjustments to themselves, and they carry the same behavior on, if not go backwards and do worse behavior moving forward. Okay, so we have to identify this within ourselves and other men so that we know when we're listening to somebody and we're seeking advice, we know who we can trust and who can guide us out of this dark tunnel instead of keeping us ruminating and circling back into this same cycle because it does something for their own gratification. Excuse me. Number 8, they blame others. Everybody is at fault for why they act the way they act. These are all these men who are making these videos with every single video is blaming the woman. You know, it's the woman's fault. It's because of this. Honestly, I think it's the men's fault for multiple reasons. Hey, this ain't gonna be a popular opinion, but if men were created to be the leaders, we have done a poor job. Not saying that you being a good leader and a woman choosing to go the wrong path meant you were doing a poor job. No, us in general, there are men out here who support bad behavior. Those are your poor leaders. We hold them accountable. There also is men who have not been positive leaders and they have actually been a negative influence. The woman beaters, the manipulators, the users, the abusers, the other kind of people that have done things physically, sexually, and all other kind of ways to our women to destroy them and break them down and enjoy doing it. The men that you watch that tell you how to manipulate women and how to get them to chase you and how to ignore them and how to leave drawers of another woman at your house. These kind of men, they need to be held accountable. At the end of the day, it's really simple in my opinion. If you don't want to play a game, you leave it. You don't play it. You don't put on the jersey. You don't sit on the bench. You don't join the coaching staff. You don't help build the venue. You don't work in the parking lot. You leave the venue altogether. That's what I've done. I am not about to play this game. Okay, this modern dating game where the woman wants you to pay all her bills. I ain't doing it. I ain't doing none of that. I don't care what you say. Oh, a man who don't want to pay 100% of the bills, he lacks in his masculinity. Whatever you want to say, bro. Your personal opinion on the subject ain't gonna make me say, I need to be paying a woman's bills because that mean I lack in my masculinity if I question why I need to be paying all another woman's bills. I don't care what you're talking about. I ain't doing it. Okay, somebody else's. You can't influence me to do something that I do not believe in. I was not raised like that. I'm not gonna let the internet tell me who I am and who I ain't. Okay, so what you're going to hear in most cases is a man who is broken is going to blame everyone for the reason why he is a dirtbag. He's going to use statistics that he hasn't even done the research on himself. He might have read it in some book, some article somewhere, and he said, yeah, it justified his poor behavior. He's going to quote the Bible, and he's going to misquote the Bible at that. And he's going to say, yeah, we're supposed to be having multiple women because in the Bible, this king had multiple women. So I consider myself a king, so I need multiple women. Moving on. Number 9. Excuse my nose. They are poor listeners. You will hear them tell you that they don't want to hear your mess. They don't want to hear what you're going through. When you call them, when you text them, when you type them, when you message them, they don't want to hear what you are going through. They don't. They have zero empathy for you. They do not have the capacity to have empathy for anybody else. They have lost the ability to have empathy because they are in a negative downward spiral, emotional, spiritual position in the world, in life in general. So you can't call and text them and do video calls or anything and get anything helpful. They don't want to hear it. Even if they are set up to give you advice, They don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear what you are going through. They are like, oh my God, this dude, why is this common sense to you? They are agitated. They are irritated. They do not care. So you go to them, they get quiet. You go to your homeboy and you try to talk to him and say, man, I'm trying to get some advice. And they're like, yeah, I don't really know what to say about that. They don't care. Oh man, I don't really want you to make your problems my problems. They don't care. They're poor listeners. They can't hear you. You ask them a question, like, oh man, I don't know. I was talking to this guy I didn't know recently, and I asked him a question. I was like, man, random question, man. What do you think about this? It was a conversation I was having to him about women. And he was like, honestly, man, I'm going through a divorce, man. I don't even think about women. I laughed. I was like, bruh, broken man. He didn't want to talk about it. His brain was shut off to that. Broken man. You know what I'm saying? I was like, no problem, brother. My bad for even disturbing you. And I went about my business. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing that he would have said that I would have wanted to hear anyway. Lastly, number 10. Ultimately, they are self-sabotaging. Yep. Having a negative outlook on life in general will keep you doing things that are counterintuitive, counterproductive to having a successful outlook, outcome of anything. You have to keep your head up. You have to think positively. And you don't have to, don't let me tell you that. It's a choice. You can do whatever you want to do. So you can sit here and say, oh, I'm just going to quit. I'm just going to give up. But go ahead. Go ahead. If that's what you want to do. I don't know what comes from quitting, but you're going to find out, and I'm going to live vicariously through you because I'm not going to be the one to do it myself, and I'm going to watch you quit, and I'm going to watch you circle the block, and you're going to be asking a young man like myself, how did you make it out? Because I'm not going to quit, and you're going to see me reach my peak, and I'm going to watch you quit, and I'm going to watch you never reach your peak because you're going to have to circle back after you come off a reserve or off the pause or whatever you call it, hiatus, because you just stuck in a downward spiral in life. And then you're going to be asking a young man like myself who never quits, who is not going to allow pessimism to overtake my brain or the way I view women or the way I view dating, regardless of how many failed attempts I've had, regardless of negative outcomes, all of that stuff. I always say that modern dating is either going to be frustrating or entertaining, depending on your status, your mind state, where you are in life, your outlook on it. If you are a pessimistic boy or man, a pessimistic person, then you are going to have a negative outlook. Doesn't matter what the circumstances are. And then that is going to be how you self-sabotage, because you can be running into a woman who has pure intentions, but you are going to find something wrong with her. You are going to not trust her because you are stuck in a negative, broken state. And then it's only going to last longer. So it is best for you to look forward to getting help, positivity, fixing and healing yourself and getting yourself out of that slump. Watch what you ingest on the internet. These men telling you to do negative things that do not help you in a positive light, that do not reap a positive outcome. And then you can free yourself from that bondage. And this is me speaking from experience. I have been a broken man before. I have been cheated on more times than I chose to count. You know what I'm saying? I tell people all the time, I've been cheated on so many times that a woman cheating on me wouldn't even hurt me. I'd be like, oh, okay, well, hey, brother, that's your woman now. You know what I'm saying? I'll just move on. I don't care how beautiful she was. I don't care how good the box was. I don't care what we had going on. If we had kids, I'm still leaving. I hope this video has helped somebody and encourages you and uplifts you and validates you, because that's what the purpose of my content is. And if I have done that, please let me know. Validate your boy back. Give me a like, a comment, or subscribe if you are new to my channel. This has been excuse me. I'm sick. This has been yet another episode of The Superb Word. By the way, my name is Jerome. Until next time, y'all, 2 fingers. All right. Oh.